Hey everyone. First, I just want to say thank you to Nathan and Alex for having me here today. I want to also thank you guys for coming because showing up is where it starts. This is how we win elections. We have to show up, and obviously this is a great example that we're already doing that. So one thing about me is I am always nervous for no reason at all usually, but it just happens to be that way. But I could not be more excited to speak here in front of you all because I could not be more on board for this campaign. A little bit about me is that I was raised as a conservative. I was raised Christian, but I was never able to say I was a Republican because I believed the lies that the left told me. You know, my dad came from absolutely nothing in Minneapolis, nothing literally at all. He had no handouts, made all the worst decisions. It was awful, but he raised himself out of it. He worked himself out of that situation and he persevered. You know, the left teaches us that we need to have a victim mentality and that it's impossible to come from nothing and make yourself into something great. But for me, I did have a blessed childhood, but I've been completely independent financially since the age of 16. By 18, I moved out into my own apartment, and I worked my way through, and I'm paying my way through college, and I'm doing all these things that the left told me that I was unable to do. A year ago, I decided that politics was something that I would be interested in, and I had absolutely no connections, no idea how to get my foot in the door, but I knew it's what I wanted. I started with Turning Point. I was volunteering day and night, made no money at all. And then there was milestones, you know. At one point I was like, I gotta meet Jennifer Carnahan. Jennifer Carnahan's gonna be the one to get me through the door, and I met her and it was great, but again, that's not, it doesn't happen like that. And I worked with the Minnesota Young Republicans, and I wanted to be a delegate, and suddenly I got a call from Nathan one day asking me if I wanted to volunteer for Shia, and I was so excited. I was like, I made it, I was like, this is it. And it was short-lived because of COVID, but it was still a good experience, and that kind of turned into Blexit, and that's a huge thing. We're doing a lot of work in the Black community, and we'll be doing a lot of work here in CD4, and hopefully, connecting and doing things with Alex as well. And then that led to me working for Lacey Johnson. And again, by the way, Blexit, no money, so I'm still broke here. And then I get a call, and they ask, do you want to work for Lacey? And I'm like, oh, this is great. And it's like a little part-time job, but it's enough to pay my bills. And so it's like, this is great. And then, within a month, here I am the field director for his campaign, the field director for one of the biggest campaigns in our state, one of the most important races, by the way. We got to get her out of office. But all that to say, within 8 months of, being in politics, I'm on the stage with the President of the United States. I mean, how often does that happen? Not often for me. And I was definitely told if I would have listened to the Democrats that would have been completely out of the cards for me. And really, that's my point. They tell you, if you look at me, I am a woman, I'm a Black woman. Apparently, I'm one of the most oppressed demographics in the country. But I think I'm doing pretty well with that, considering that. One of the things I love doing is proving them wrong, and boy, are they wrong a lot. Where you come from and the color of your skin does not determine how successful you'll be. But I believed them. I really did. And I also believe them that when they said that the Republican Party is just this racist, non-inclusive, sexist party, and I was like, I'm conservative, but these people are awful, before I even met you guys, by the way. I already had it in my mind, But, they were wrong, and I can sit up here today and say I cannot be more proud to call myself a Republican. And I cannot be more proud to consider myself a member of the Minnesota Republican Party. Look at the chairwoman. She's Asian. I mean, they said we don't like Asians, right? But clearly she got there. Our candidates, we have men, women, some that are part of the LGBTQ community, Black men, Lacey, Alex. I mean, we're all over the place. And I just think that's a perfect example of really what our party is. And even ones who fall into the stereotypical category, like Jason Lewis, white male, but he has one of the best criminal justice platforms I've ever seen. So, and lastly, Alex, who is a conservative family man, which is exactly what this district needs. I mean, he has a beautiful wife, 7 children. They're all extremely beautiful. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're gorgeous kids. And that's what happens when you come from a loving 2-parent household. I could not be more proud of him for what he's doing. It's no easy feat, and it's definitely not easy in this district, but he is doing what the Democrats said was impossible, and he's representing something that they claimed did not exist. So I don't know about you guys, but he has my full support, and I'm so excited to volunteer and do everything I can to help him flip this district red. We had a blue wave once, and this year we're going to have a red wave, so.